Good day everyone, so hope you're all doing really well. Yes, the video title seems strange because I'm the type of person that's been constantly advocating for more endgame in Genshin Impact, but the more I thought about it, the more it became clear to me that Genshin Impact really lacks a proper sense of adventure. I was discussing this with Chloe, and it really hit me that the reason people get burnt out over finding more treasure chests and speaking to the same old NPC for hours on end is that there is no more fun when it comes to just having and exploring the overworld. This is what I tried to touch on in my previous two videos when we talked about how Fontaine characters have blatantly power crept Inazuma characters to be easier to use and much more like feature rich, and how the Fontaine region itself is far more casual and noob friendly than the Inazuma region. This is the thing, when we played Inazuma for the first time, there was a proper sense of adventure because you're trapped on Rito of the island, and once you break free, well, you have a lot of toxic hazards, and the only way you could navigate the environment is by slowly opening chests, going to the sacred sakura and leveling up your little Electrograna 8 that will help you navigate the environment. It's a beautiful formula. You've got this hazardous and difficult environment, and in order to progress, you need to slowly bootstrap, get some material, make yourself stronger, and once you're stronger and your Electrograna is better, you can go into areas you previously couldn't, and that means you can then become more stronger, etc, etc. That entire Inazuma formula made sense. The sense of danger, the sense that, oh, I'm going to lose this fight against the Shogun. A lot of people loved fighting Shogun the first time around because you didn't know what happened. Your abilities are taken away, and obviously it was a scripted fight to lose, but it was fun to lose. It was really awesome because it felt really appropriate. But once again, even as awesome as the Inazuma formula was, a lot of that sense of adventure and danger kind of disappeared when we had to do the Ayaka story quest, because it was mostly just a dating simulator where Ayaka told you about her mother passing away and she doesn't have any friends, but she can tell you, the traveler. And I was like, that is so boring. I want to be like with the Yoimiya story quest, where you suddenly make fake visions to trick the guards and you need to bust someone out of prison. That is the sense of adventure that I really wanted. And I think this is where you can see that the gacha element, or the I need to sell you a character business, has really interfered with this big grand open world adventure, because Hoyo wants to appeal to casual players, and this is why the game, in my opinion, really feels stale, because that sense of adventure has really been lost. So I want to ask you a question now. Are you really willing to play through the Natlan region in 5.0 if it's just going to be more easy puzzle solving and these characters have all of these amazing utilities and abilities to overcome all of the environmental hazards like they have in Fontaine? Or would you really like a good sense of adventure where you've got the lava and you step in it, you die instantly, and there's like a level 200 dragon, and if you approach it, then your Shangling gets one shot and she's dead, and you can't revive because there's a special curse placed on you? Something that's just exciting, something that really tingles you and just be like, wow, this is the reason I've been playing and building up my characters and leveling up my artifacts. This is the type of boss and end game that I could really want. There is a real threat here. I can't beat this threat, but if I start leveling up the lava tree by exploring the rest of the region, I can slowly get a combat aid that's going to help me, and I get a real sense of I've been on this adventure, I've leveled up, and now I'm ready to fight the big bad boss at the end. That is the formula that works. That's the formula that really makes the game far more fun. Instead, we don't have any of that. In fact, I would even argue that one of the bigger problems in Genshin is that because it's a gacha game and they force you to use the energy system in order to level up your characters, you now have this weird situation where new players need to get new characters and only level them up because they are not going to have enough resources to spend on older, outdated characters. And it's just like, well, they need to make it worthwhile for the new players, but for us as older players that have effectively gone through years of playing using this system, what do we get? Well, for the exact same, or for a quarter of the time we've invested, someone takes a new unit, they beat the new enemy, and then eventually they also get bored and become old players and complain about the lack of activities to do. It is bizarre to me. It's bizarre that Genshin wants to make the game noob friendly, but they don't allow you to effectively progress and make your character stronger so that you can deal with the environment. It's just a mixed bag of bad gacha, this like decisions mixed into an open world adventure, and it doesn't work out well. I'm sorry to say that the gacha and the need to sell characters has really come in the way of a good game, and it's just been designed as a scam to lure in new players with lots of things to do and eventually just having no purpose. This is where Genshin is losing its identity. You want to know what is going to kill Genshin? It's going to be Genshin Impact itself. It's not Withering Waves, it's not any other product out there. The game itself is losing the open world adventure. It's just an open world waifu collector, and that is what the majority of people want. They want an easy game that is very simple, that they can play on their phones, and they don't want to think too much about it. Heaven forbid if they ever give them a puzzle like on Watatsumi Island, little magic squares puzzle that everyone probably looked up on the internet because they're too stupid to do basic maths and count to 16. Yeah, look, this is the state of where we're in. And I think for Genshin Impact to redeem itself, I'm gonna make a couple of suggestions because I'm not the type of person to just criticize. I've got some workable solutions, and the only thing I can ask of you is to just fill out the survey forms, give these solutions to the Hoyo team, and hopefully somewhere, somehow, someone might take this idea. So how do you instill a sense of adventure back in Genshin? Well, it's very, very simple. You take all of the open dungeons that we've already cleared and you fill them up with level 100 to 200 mobs. So when I go back to a dungeon, there is a level 100 mob and I beat the dungeon. Great. Next time I go in, there's now a level 110. It's got 5 more resistance, 5% more defense, and so you scale up all the way to level 200. Once you beat it, then the dungeon itself transforms into a dungeon where you now don't need to beat the enemies, but you have an endless wave coming at you that progressively gets harder and harder, and you've got a set time limit, and the more enemies you kill, the higher your score. Once you reach certain score threshold levels, you get a wonderful little reward, which effectively is a token, and these tokens can be used to eventually redeem some skins, and if you collect more than enough, of course subject to like some sort of weekly limit, you can eventually redeem it for a 4-star or a 5-star character of your choice in the game. That in and of itself to me would give so much longevity and replayability in the game, and you can use different dungeons with different stage effects to effectively help and buff or target like specific team comps in order to clear it. Imagine you've got 20 dungeons on the open world, but your beloved Xiangling team can only do 2. You need to build a Kokomi team to do the other 3. You need to build up a Hyperbloom team to do another one. It's going to give you more reasons to build different characters. Even at C6 R5 Triple Crown Max Artifact, you would not be able to beat some of these dungeons without first having to go through some sort of iterative loop in order to make yourself stronger. This is exactly why ideas like the simulated universe comes about, like in Honkai Star Rail. You repeatedly challenge things, there's repeatedly different ways of doing that challenge, you collect different buffs, and you slowly work up a profile where your characters and their combat abilities are buffed up and up and up. You can make an effective roguelike system into the end game that is part of the overworld, and that gives you the sense that, okay, I'm gonna go into the overworld, I'm gonna start beating up enemies, I'm gonna clear dungeons, but when I go back, there's gonna be a real big and fun challenge to it. That to me would help solve some of the adventure requirements. And the second suggestion that I would want to make to the Genshin team is to really start thinking of adding world levels 9 to 10. And once you reach AR 55, you can unlock world level 9. Once you reach AR 60, you can unlock world level 10. And at these world levels, the enemy mobs are a lot more dangerous. They have much more shorter cooldowns. You can't CC them. You can't freeze them. A lot of the traditional mechanics just don't work anymore. anymore, and that in and of itself would make the overworld far more treacherous, far more dangerous. And I think it would really renew a proper sense of danger that we want. If you now take this together with a region specific upgrade system, then that would be perfect. I explore the region, I go to a place, I eventually upgrade my talents for that region, and then I start battling out the region. That is how you can have fun in Genshin Impact, all the whilst you can keep the lower world levels and the lower adventure ranks far easy and far safer, so that all the little newbies can still have fun. But for those that want the option to go up a world level, with the option to at any time go down if you're scared and you've got anxiety, that should be given to us. Yeah, that is what I have to say. I really think that, and look, my ideas are not going to be always the best or the most like logical of ideas, but I just wanted to say that I really think we need more adventure. We need more reasons to keep on playing the overworld rather than a single dungeon which sits there at Musgrave. That is what's going to make Genshin last longer. That's really what's going to give us a sense of adventure, and I think we need that. We desperately need that. Otherwise, Genshin's just going to kill itself. Alright, that is what I have to say. Let me know what your thoughts are, but this is effectively the conclusion to my little 3-part video. The one looking at the characters, the other one's looking at the region, and this obviously looking more at the meta game focus. Thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day.